this week in terms of daytime talk show. We are, we've kept up with Wendy Williams, right? Like whether you liked her for her crazy remarks, everybody knows Wendy Williams. Her show abruptly ended and everyone was like, oh my God, where is she? What happened? And so after her show was abruptly ended, we saw like glimpses and pieces of her, but then she kind of came back on the scene with her Hulu documentary and everybody was like, oh my God, like she is like, what happened? You know what I'm saying? So this week she went on the Breakfast Club and spoke out against her conservatorship. Is that how you say it? And she also talked about the person who is now essentially like controlling her and telling her what she can and cannot do. So we're going to play a little compilation of what she and her niece had to say when they joined the Breakfast Club. Let's take a listen.
Make her own decisions. She is not cognitively impaired. She is not incapacitated. She is being taken advantage of.
Right.
Wendy, tell us what's going on.
Well, first of all, to start with, my niece Alex knows a lot as well, but I am not cognitively impaired. You know what I'm saying? No, but I feel like I am in prison. You understand what I'm saying? I am exhausted thinking about what if I can't see my dad for his birthday? At 94, the day after that is not promised. It's not promised. I have things from my dad that's in storage. And there are little things that I say, I'm not going to give it to him, but I'm going to sew them and make them so that they look perfect on me. You know what I'm saying? Yes, I know how to sew. I've known how to sew for years. You know what I'm saying? But I'm saying, like, I want to give my dad some sort of fragrance. I want to go to Sephora and pick and choose. What? I might not be.
Yeah.
My life is like fucked up.
Do you think that there'll be some type of retaliation from the Guardian because of maybe this phone call or because of wow.
We've talked about that. My aunt, even with her wanting to come on, we talked about all scenarios. I said, do this. You ready for what's on the other side? And as she said, I have to do this. There's nothing else I could do at this point. She's prepared for the fact that her phone might be taken away.
What if they take my phone? I won't be able to talk to anybody.
Yeah. And, you all, what you're hearing now, this is a few-minute clip of what we've been dealing with for the last several months and the last 2-3 years.
Wow.
Like, what the hell?
Like, she can get moved, and we may not even know where she is.
Wow.
That was the reality of where she was during the documentary. We weren't permitted to go see her. So this whole documentary aired. Nobody's able to call her. Nobody's able to see her.
When you saw the documentary, what did you think when you saw the documentary? Because that's what got everybody, at least the general public, concerned. What did you think of that?
Do you know what? What I thought about that was that's something that, well, first of all, I don't want to watch that again until I get to Miami, until I get, my life. Look, I don't care about watching that.
Who's putting out like the rumors? Like, because a couple of months ago we heard, well, Wendy's having this problem and she's incapacitated. Like,
they said she's cognitively impaired because of alcohol. She's incapacitated. She's suffering from dementia.
Obviously, it's not true. So do we know who's sending out those rumors to the press and to the blogs and all that? Do we know? Do we have any ideas?
I mean, allegedly, from what we're able to see, all of this comes from The Guardian.
I wanted to know what you want people who are listening to do. What do you want us to do? Should we tweet? Should we get online? Like, what do you want us to do? Also, Alex, what do you want?
Oh, no. I'm not going to talk about that. Charlemagne, Alex, you talk about that. Go ahead.
Well, we've talked about this, and that is there's the hashtag Free Wendy. There's also a change.org petition as well. And also just making as much noise as possible, potentially, GoFundMe, whatever we have to do to make sure that my aunt is in a place where she is living her life in dignity. The bottom line is my aunt hasn't had, I mean, we talked about this yesterday. She hasn't had, from what I understand, a medical evaluation to see if her rights can be restored. And it seems as though that instead of this guardian, Sabrina, working with her, it seems as though she's made it difficult every which way for my aunt to be able to live any sort of healthy, independent life.
Wow.
And, it's almost as if she doesn't want my aunt to show that she's healthy and independent. Because as we know about these guardianships, and as my aunt has said, the system's broken. Because the longer she's under this guardianship, the longer they have the keys to her life, for her personal, her financial, her emotional, everything.
Wendy's attorney, Linda Reliski, I think that's how you pronounce her last name. She made a contribution. This is what I heard. She made a contribution to the judge after she was assigned to your case.
Really?
Isn't that a conflict of interest, Alex?
I would say so. Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. And I'm paraphrasing here, but your cats chit-chatting my way. And anybody that's a Wendy fan knows how much my aunt loves chit-chatting my way. Yeah, I gave those cats away. You don't have them anymore.
Oh my God.
Yeah, and as far as Diddy will go to prison for life, people. You don't know things that I knew about Diddy back in the day. And you want to know what? It's about time, people. It is about time. Diddy done.
Diddy done.
There you have it.
Diddy done. That's what she said. So when Shayla sent me this whole interview thing was gonna happen, I was like, ooh, I wonder what she's gonna say. So I'll give my opinion real quick and then I'll let you go. I think she does sound coherent. I think she does sound clear. Do I think there's something wrong? Yes. But do I feel like she should be under this tight restriction? No. And I don't understand. Like, I get it. It's like, how do you say it again? Conveyorship, consensorship.
Conservatorship.
Yeah, that thing. Honestly, that's just like a different form of government control that I just don't understand, because it's just like, if you have her family who says that they have her best interest at heart, why would that be so problematic to let her family handle her? I feel like there's other instances that we've seen where we've seen people who have these family members who make it seem like they have the person's best interest at heart, and then they don't, but nobody steps in, nobody interferes. But in this case, like, she clearly looks to her family. She started crying about her father, and you basically trying to use it as a bingo card so she could do what you want. I just think the whole situation is very weird. And it's like, it was kind of weird for me because, like, I remember listening to Wendy on the radio and then seeing her transition into the TV space and seeing her for all these years talk about all these celebrity drama, celebrity gossip, giving us the exclusive on certain stuff. And then to see her in this like type of predicament where like the niece called it a luxury prison, it's like, how does one get from like stardom to here? And it's just like, I just don't understand the downfall, and I just don't understand the idea and what the motive would be like behind keeping her down at that level. Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah, I think the downfall and how quick it happened, the way it happened, is very sad, because like I said, feel how you feel. There was those that hated Wendy for how she talked about others. I get it, but I feel like no one deserves to be on this leash in a sense. And it's actually it's so scary to know that a bank can have the power to turn your life into what Wendy's life currently is. Like, Wendy Williams, so like the whole issue started with like a bank issue. Like, hey, I want my records. And then supposedly someone was like, oh, when she asked for her records, someone had in her team supposedly had already said that, like, hey, I don't think Wendy is, cognitively all the way there to handle her own things. And so whatever, fast forward, a New York judge or whatever decided that she needed to be under conservatorship, and we landed here. I think, according to what I read, she did have her son as like, a power of attorney. So her son would be able to, you know, be the one to have a say in her life. But I guess they couldn't show enough proof to the judge that he was capable enough to be the one to be running her money and her life. So all in all, I do, like Rebecca mentioned, I'm not gonna say that I think Wendy is 100%. But again, like, decline in your mind is normal when you age. You know what I'm saying? Like, yes, some people are good mentally until, you know, the day they die. But I feel like small decline in your cognitive state is normal when you age. You know what I'm saying? So for Sabrina, I think that's the name of the person who is in charge of her life, to drop this news that she was like, what it was, like, cognitively impaired. Like she wasn't able to not move, but like the fact that she was, I forgot the exact wording that the reporting said, the TMZ, but essentially it made it seem like Wendy can't even talk. Like she's done for. So I'm so happy that she is speaking out. And I just feel like there has to be a way for them to reevaluate her. Like her niece is saying that ever since this move was made, they haven't done like a health checkup again on her. And she's saying, like, I think they don't want to do it because they do want to keep her under this conservatorship. And I just don't understand it. If you feel like Wendy is not able to make her own decisions, then the least they can do is give the power of attorney or the rights to a family member that is willingly saying, like, hey, I can do this. Because one thing I know about Wendy, she's always very open to how she feels. So if she felt like her niece was not taking good care of her, or, you know, like didn't have her best interest, then she would not, you know, be on these public platforms now speaking out. She even went on the Don Lemon show on YouTube to, again, talk about the issue. So I hope, and it's also like a weird thing, because I feel like Wendy Williams' story is not getting enough hype as the Britney Spears thing did. Because I remember when Britney Spears first spoke out about it, it was like, given, yes, Britney had been under this conservatorship for way longer, but I'm like, damn, Wendy was like an iconic figure. And I hope that, you know, people do use the Free Wendy hashtag and it brings noise, because unfortunately we do live in a day and age where, like, so many things happen at the same time. And if we don't keep the issue on the forefront of people's minds, there won't be no move, no change, no nothing. So I am glad that they are speaking out and they are going on radio and all these other platforms to be like, hey, do you know that this is happening? Because it is actually insane. Like, a bank should not have this much power over you.
Right. And I want to talk about, so I forget, one of the girls on the Breakfast Club, she talked about like going to basically go see Wendy. And when she was basically in the lobby, she talked to the people, said, hey, I'm here to see Wendy. And they're like, okay, let me just check with Sabrina. And like she said, like a few minutes went by, and like out of nowhere, they were like, Wendy doesn't live here. We don't know it's Sabrina. You're going to have to go. Like, they got very cagey very quickly. And it's just like, if you're going to have that type of control over her, why not allow her to see the people that she wants to see? Then she was also saying how, like, they give her a phone, but she can call people, but people can't call her. So she always has to be the one to initiate contact. God forbid something happens to her. Who can check in on her? She's also talked about how they give her these pills and she doesn't know what these pills are for. It's just very weird. And to your point about like the Free Britney, we saw how much noise and how much traction people got for Britney. And if any of y'all tell me that Britney is anywhere near normal, she's not, right? But no one should feel like their life is being like controlled. Like everything you do is literally under a microscope. You literally can't do nothing without a yay or a nay. It's like, what happened to free choice? What happened to free will? Like, what happened to that? Like, who are you? You are not Wendy's mother. You are not Wendy's dad. Who are you to think that you could tell her everything that you can and can't do?
Yeah, she also doesn't have access to her like personal phone. So if you know Wendy, you know, like her whole thing was keeping up with culture. So I can only imagine, like, even that in itself can be a factor in your mental decline. If all of a sudden you were so used to this lifestyle and now it's like, well, you can't even just be on your phone scrolling to see, you know, what the latest tea is. Like, she can't just walk around and do, you know, go downstairs. That's essentially why when the Breakfast Club producer was there, she couldn't just like welcome them in. Like, she needs a key to, or it's like such a under a leash situation. And like Rebecca said, I feel like if anything, this is the thing about dementia. I will say it's a very tricky thing. You can be very good today, and tomorrow, the things may not look the same. So I do want to say, yes, I am not here saying that like Wendy Williams is 1,000%. Yes, maybe she does wake up some days and she doesn't know things. I'm just saying that her family, if they are willing and able to have or be the ones to have these keys and these powers to manage her life, they should be the ones having a say so. Like, this random woman don't know that she wants Poland spring water.
Just giving her any brand. She's like, I don't drink that.
It's so sad. It's so
and like the thing is, like you mentioned, to the whole point of like dementia, like a lot of times, like with people with dementia, they always say they need to have familiar things around them. If you just keep them trapped in a room, and she's talking about all her family, like after she was a Jersey girl, shout out to that point. She was from Asbury Park, moved to Ocean County. Yeah. We love a good Jersey girl. Anyway, she was saying how like her parents had ended up moving to Miami, and basically all her family has slowly migrated to Miami. She's all the way she's in New York right now, right? She's nowhere near her family. People have to travel to see her. Why not put her in a space where she can be with the people that, she's familiar with, the people that she actually wants to talk to? It's just like, her father's 94 years old. You heard when she was crying. She's like, his birthday is coming up and the next day might not be guaranteed for him. And it's just like, how would you feel if somebody kept you away from your parents and you never know when they might take their last breath? That's ridiculous.
And if that's a great point. If your whole thing is like, well, she needs to be under 24/7 surveillance, I'm sure there are rehab facilities in Miami. Like, why does she have to be stuck in New York? I mean, I guess the conservatorship, the whole thing broke out here in New York. But I just feel like if I'm in charge of a stranger, and I guess we all have different hearts, we'll see where this lands. We just hope and pray that, there is a resolution and people are talking about this, because it is actually insane. So now let's move on to...
I just wanted to mention this last thing. It's like, to your point where it's like, if you say that you guys, like, this is the best way for her and the best way for her to have, like, I guess, some type of normalcy, why not actually show that? Like, everything that we're seeing, it just looks so rigid. It looks very much prison like. It looks very controlling, and it looks like y'all are not giving her a say so in anything. So it's like, if your whole thing is we feel like we would have her best interest at heart, why not actually prove that? And that's all.